This is Mark Belton, SuperTraining Gym. SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West. You guys just saw me walking around with my homeless shopping cart. The crew all chipped in and bought me that beautiful homeless shopping cart so I can store all my crap on there. I claim that I lift raw nowadays, but you guys know the truth. You guys see me with the elbow sleeves and the slingshot and the knee sleeves and the wrist wraps and the this and the that. I'm always pretty mummified. Here I am working out with one of the King's strength and conditioning coaches on this day. He's rocking one of our new strong shirts, you can see. We're just going through some warm-up stuff. I'm just kind of giving him shit, but we had a great training session. We're actually waiting for the head strength and conditioning coach to show up, but he was unable to make it on this particular day. I don't know either guy's last name. I should figure out a way to remedy that, but his name is Evan, and the head strength and conditioning coach for the Kings is a guy named Ramsey. And they occasionally come into SuperTraining Gym and throw around some weight, and I occasionally go over there. There's my boy Fat Dan banging out 275, hanging out back at the old SuperTraining stomping grounds here, banging out some bench pressing. But it's great to have the Sacramento Kings guys coming around. It's great to go over their facility. They got a lot of fun tools to mess around with. But on this particular day, we were waiting around for Ramsey so long that we did almost all of our assistance exercises first, and then we hopped into doing some flow presses. Some of you guys, this is Pig's girlfriend. That's all I know her as. Sorry, I don't know her full name. Here's my boy Filipino Thunder, banging out 365. Even just to say that it's Pig's girlfriend, it just doesn't sound right to put pig and girl in the same sentence for some reason. It just doesn't sound polite. Here we got one of the original SuperTraining members from way back in the day, my boy Chris, and he actually has lost about 40 or 50 pounds, along with a lot of the rest of us are just working on stop being so fucking fat. Here we got some chains on the floor press. So the floor press, there's a bunch of reasons for a floor press. I'll get into that in a second, but the chains accommodate resistance. The weights are heavier at the top and they're lighter at the bottom. Each chain weighs about 20 pounds, so we have one chain per side. It's approximately 40 additional pounds. Got my boy Big Bill going with some benching, 385. Bill sometimes occasionally will come in off the street in a pair of jeans and just out of nowhere bench 405. No warm-up, no wrist wraps, no nothing. He's just that way. He's kind of a nutcase when it comes to that. So here we are again, back to the chains. So the chains are where the weights are in the least favorable position, which is the bottom of the bench press. That's where the chains unload, and they load back up as your body becomes in a more favorable position. I think if you guys did a 4 or 5 board bench press or a very short partial range of motion bench press, you'd understand the principle that you'd probably be able to lift a lot more in that shorter range. Well, the chains are accommodating your resistance throughout an entire range of motion, and they're adding up as you push through the weight. So if you had something like 300 pounds of bar weight and you had 100 pounds of chains, it would approximately be 400 pounds at the top and approximately be 300 pounds at the bottom, give or take some weight, because all the chains don't always come off and all the chains don't always all load onto the bar. There I got 275 pounds with 160 pounds of chains. I'm a pretty simple person. I don't try to like add things up, and I don't really care how much the weight is at the top or the bottom. It is good to have that knowledge just so you know what you're dealing with. You see Evan, we got his last name. Good thing I didn't try to say that name because it's pretty long. I'm a pretty simple person. Sometimes I use more chains and sometimes I use less, and sometimes I don't use any chains. People have been strong before people started using bands and chains, and people will be strong after. It's just another tool, just like utilizing a slingshot or a pair of knee wraps or any other product that you can get your hands on, or any new exercise or any new type of programming. Strength is never a weakness. Catch y'all later. You know you're hitting these things right when it's a question on whether or not you can do it or not. You should always be leveling up in your life. You should always be hanging with or doing things that take some balls. Sometimes when you hang out with certain people, I go and doing speaking engagements. I feel really strongly in my speaking ability, but I know there's motherfuckers that could smoke me on that stuff. And so it's a service to me to try to get around people that are better than myself, people that have been doing it longer, someone like Kelly Starrett, or go way up the ladder and find someone like Tony Robbins who's spoke to millions of people. The point is, get in the middle of these fucking workouts halfway through, you should be like, you know what? There's a lot more to go. And I don't have any idea whether I can make it back or not. The John Anderson deep water principle. Swim out as far as you fucking can and have no plans on how you're gonna get back. You just know that you have to get back or you're gonna fucking die. That's the way your workout should feel. If you're lifting heavy, today we did max sets of 5, got into some triples and stuff like that too. When you're going for those sets of 5, it's up in the air. I could end up with 5, I can end up tearing my pec. I can end up with 5, or I could end up with 4. I can end up having the weight fly over my face and nearly kill me. Or if you're squatting, have the weight fall off your shoulders, or have it crush you, or whatever the case is. If it's not gonna scare you a little bit, it's not gonna be strong enough to change you. Unfortunately, when it comes to strength, things that get you strong happen to be a little bit dangerous. That's just the way it is. There's no way to safely get stronger. It can't all be safe all the time, or you won't be able to change, you won't be able to grow. Strength is never a weakness. Catch y'all later. So we got a little festive thing going on today, a little pool party action going on. We got these misters blowing some water at us, and have some family and some friends over. Got a taco party going basically, and it's just kind of getting started. We got a lot of kids here, a lot of people here. Some people have already jumped in the pool. Nobody's really drunk yet, and so that's makes it more official when somebody starts to get hammered. So this is number 1, and we'll see where we end up.